Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon talking Cardinals baseball here on Inside Pitch. Gordo, we don't have our little Fredbird guy on our desk. We're going virtual today, but if we did, he would be down. And he would be down bad, Gordo. Cardinals 5 losses in a row, headed out on the road with their tail feathers tucked. They've won 2 games in their last 12. They are still at 27 wins. This is looking like as bad of a Cardinals season as we've seen in quite some time. You've been covering the Cardinals a lot longer than me. Is this the worst Cardinals season you can imagine that you've seen, perhaps?
Yeah, you'd have to go back to the 90s where they were just sort of dull and mediocre, not horrendous. I think this would be Fredbird would be beak up right now. Beak up.
No.
So that would be bad. That's bad. So the question becomes, Bedford, the season seems lost. But can you limit the damage to this season? Can you find a way during the course of this season to start building positives for next year and beyond? Because frankly, if you keep dwelling on where you are, it's just depressing and it's just repeating itself. The failure, as you see over and over, you and Benjamin have written about it again and again. It's just the same stuff. So how do you turn this thing start finding some positives? And my suggestion, Benford, one, just try to play some good baseball so that the Jordan Walkers and Nolan Gormans of the world can say, okay, this is how we're supposed to do it.
I thought you were going to say fire everybody. But,
no.
I think what I see, Gordo, is the Cardinals really coming faster than they would like up to a fork in the road. And there's 2 ways to take. One is to take the road that says this season can be saved, it can be salvaged, it can be rescued if they can only do the right things right now. I don't know that that's the case, but that is their nature. And that's a team that always tries to win, a team that has 15 consecutive winning seasons, a team that will tell you that there's a chance to get into the postseason until they are, in fact, mathematically eliminated and not a day before. And that is usually the Cardinals' preferred route. There's another road that we see other teams take, usually not the Cardinals, that says, hey, we're zooming out. This season is lost effectively. We still want to play good baseball. We want to try to do good things with young players to put them in a better spot to succeed in the future. But we're going to be realists, and we're going to sell off the pieces that aren't long-term fits of this team and try to get in a better spot to have an impact-making off-season. I could see a potential for the Cardinals in the first time that I've covered them to take the other road, where they just tried to take pressure off of this current group by more or less punting and saying, it is what it is. It would take baseball history for this team to have a winning record, let alone make the postseason. So we're going to conduct ourselves accordingly. And we're not, if they don't want to fire everybody, if they don't want to fire Ali Marmol or start firing his coaches, the front office should probably start to lean that other way. Because if you continue to go down the road of the right fix will change this team and the miraculous run is coming, well, then people are going to continue to boil as hot as they're boiling right now. There's one problem with this, Gordo. The National League Central is like, are you a fan of The Office? It's Kevin when he carries the chili across the office and he can't help but fall and spill it everywhere. No one wants to seem to take this thing and run away with it. The Cardinals continue to burrow down in it, but no one is exactly playing outstanding baseball at the top. Maybe the Reds become the team that do that, but taking that path of, hey, let's play for the future, it gets a lot easier if someone's grabbing this division and running away with it, and no one seems to want to.
No, it's a good point. I mean, I remember 100 years ago, it seems like when the Chicago White Sox were right, still pretty much in range. So let's go ahead and start building for next year. The fans were understandably outraged because they did have a legitimate shot to get in. I think, you do have time before the trade deadline. And then again, going back to step one would be just start playing good baseball. And if that changes the dynamic some, get you back within 4 or 5 games, then okay, that changes the story. But, when you just watch them lose again and again and again and again, it's just so I think John Mosalik's made it very clear the course will be decided by the play going forward. And so maybe we'll have a couple of weeks to answer this question. So start playing better baseball, but in the back of your mind, and it's probably the front of the mind, what can you get for Paul DeYoung? What can you get for Jack Flaherty? What can you get for Jordan Montgomery? What can you get for Tyler O'Neill? Go down the list of guys that probably aren't going to be here beyond the season. At least start thinking about those things, and just maybe they'll make it easier to go to sleep at night.
I think they should just start putting, for sale signs actually in guys' lockers for who they're looking at moving. Let's end on this. And we talked last week about Ollie's job security. So if you missed that, go to last week's Inside Pitch. We're trying to stay ahead of the conversation. We're not trying to trail it here. Let's talk about Paul Goldschmidt. He's frustrated, reigning National League MVP. He's probably the most value of any guy you could potentially trade at the trade deadline. I don't think the Cardinals will have any interest in trading Paul Goldschmidt. I think they imagine him being a part of this team. I don't think they want to play 2024 and beyond without him. I think they will sell the pieces if they do sell, and I imagine they probably will, that they don't feel like have long-term fits here, that they're not going to sign to a contract extension, that they're not going to have a place for in the future. And especially with like relievers, if the price goes up because the trade deadline does that, then you trade the ones you have and you go find new ones, this offseason. I think all of those things are played, but I don't think the Cardinals are interested at all in shopping Paul Goldschmidt. I'd be very surprised if they move on from him, and if only to grab, as many highly ranked prospects as they can get their hands on. Do you am I reading that right, or do you think there could be a stunner there?
The only way I think that changes is if Paul said, hey, I'd really rather go to a team that's got a chance to win. I'm running out of time here. Could you guys do me a solid? In that case, yeah, I could see them saying, okay, Paul wanted out. Otherwise, the history of the Cardinals is they play their best players to the end and they market the crap out of them. So, and they'll make money off Paul Goldschmidt next year. And that's very important. So that's not their style, but if he asked out, he said, hey man, send me back to Arizona. They got a shot. Send me to the Dodgers. I think they would have to at least think about it.
Yeah. Nothing is entirely off the out of realm of possibilities when we're seeing a Cardinals season that some would say was out of the realm of possibilities. Now, we didn't expect them to be world beaters, Gordo. We had plenty of questions about the pitching. I want to be clear. We were asking some of these questions, but I don't think anybody expected this team to possibly be as bad as it has been. We will see where things go next. Keep it locked at STLtoday.com for all of your Cardinals coverage. We will call the CPR team on for Fred Bird and hope to have him back and on his feet next week. No promises made. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.